Hey y'all, what's good? It's your girl Ronnie.
And I'm Lee.
And you're watching Jupiter Juice. And on this week's episode, we're going to talk about your birth chart demystified. And what exactly does that mean, demystified? So basically, we're going to break down how to look at your birth chart, how to read it for yourself, and, you know, what that means and what it can mean to you, and giving you the tools on how to, you know, break it down and read it yourself. So yeah, so we're first going to start talking about how the birth chart, how we got into reading birth charts. You want to start?
Yeah, so it was high school. It was a lot of hormones, going through puberty, feeling
Spicy?
yeah.
Okay.
Feeling mentally ill. Feeling very mentally ill.
Okay. T.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, where can I go? Where can I turn to? And I think, like, I was a Tumblr girly.
Mm-hmm.
So I was all up on Tumblr, and then I think I seen, like, mentions of astrology on there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, just somehow I ended up, I was always kind of intrigued by astrology, but I didn't really know what it meant.
Mm-hmm.
So I just started kind of like looking up my signs and stuff. And I remember the first time I discovered my big three, I was like, wow, that makes so much sense. Yeah. Exactly. So it really helped me to just kind of like just make sense of the time in my life and like make me feel a little bit less alone or a little less crazy by looking through my birth chart. So.
Yeah. For me, what I hate, I'm gonna talk about what I hated about like astrology growing up. Like, I like getting my little horoscope, like daily horoscope or monthly horoscope, but I felt like it never like really catered to me. And I discovered like the big three and like, rising signs probably about 70 years ago. And I'm just like, oh, that makes sense. And I was like, wait, I'm a Sagittarius rising? Really? And people were like, yeah, you definitely are. And I'm like, oh, okay. But like reading more into it and, you know, discovering that there's more than the big three. And then there's the houses and then transits and then, you know, aspects and you know, chart rulers and all of these things. It's like bang, bang, boom. Bobby. Okay.
Really body boo on that.
But yeah, like it's like it's you're always learning something, and that's the thing about astrology. You're going to be learning stuff every day. The people who are teaching you about astrology, they're discovering new things every day. I mean, like a lot of our planets got discovered less than 200 years ago. You know, so
yeah,
it's something that you're always going to explore and expand upon. And yeah, so we're gonna basically give you like some of the beginner tools into reading your chart. And the first tool, before we get into the tools,
we have a tool
for you, okay? And that tool basically is kind of like a quick worksheet for you to it's a freebie, and it's a worksheet for you to break down your own birth chart. And we're gonna give you like a blank chart for like the wheel for the houses and things like that. So your actual birth chart, you could write everything in, where you could put your big three, things like that. You'll see it. Yeah, you'll be able to take a look at that and then work in that worksheet along with this video, so that you'll be able to better understand things as you go through each step. So, and before we get into like the nitty-gritty of this video, we want to talk about our juice for the day. This is a mocktail. Okay. I was like, wait. Okay. Anyway, that was weird. I'm a weirdo. But anyway, this is a mocktail because we're not drinking. We only got alcohol in the first one.
Yeah. You're gonna have a lot of mocktails.
Yeah, because today was actually gonna be a water day. Yeah. But this, you can get your electrolytes. Is actually kind of healthy for you. Okay. So this, you'll see the recipe with this Powerade. It's sparkling, like raspberries.
Yeah. Tastes like the blue
water.
popsicle, like the firecracker popsicle, the blue part of it.
I squeezed some lemon on top. Ooh, Lord.
Oh, did you?
Child, if you're sick, this gonna clear you up, okay? Because you know when I was sick, side note, random tangent. Powerade and Jolly Rancher gummies. Every time I had a flu, that's all I eat. And I heal.
That's real.
And I heal.
Mine is ginger ale and peanut butter and jellies.
Oh.
Every time I'm sick.
That's the elixir.
Yeah, I like that's my Powerade.
Yeah.
Jolly Rancher gummies.
Okay, that's cool. I like that. Hold up, because I got those tools. I got those materials. But yeah, and then with a little lemon slice on the side. But yeah, it's really good. And then we got the little, you know, the glitter to make it like all like iridescent and astro-like. What do we name this? You'll see that at the end of the video because I don't know. Oh, this is I actually came up with this drink to represent Pisces season. We just moved into Pisces season. So it's like a Neptunian type drink, you know, with the blue vibes. It's very chill. It's dreamy with the astro glitter and all the stuff like that, all the things. All right, so let's get into the nitty gritty of this video and demystify your birth chart.
Alrighty, so the first thing you want to do is obviously calculate your birth chart. So there are websites to do that on. I love astro.com. It's kind of like a staple in the astrology community.
Yeah.
Astro-chart is a good one.
Okay, and then AstroSeek.
AstroSeek is a good one. That one's a little more complicated to navigate. And so
Yeah, it is.
Astro.com.
Yeah.
But in the freebie, we'll kind of go over like how to access it. Specifically, I think on astro.com or one of the websites, we'll kind of go through like what things to click and where to go. So if you have your freebie, you can probably follow along. You don't need this part.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, you definitely want to know obviously your birth date, and then where you were born is important, and also your birth time. And a lot of times people don't know their birth time, or if it's like a really specific like 4:30 or 4 p.m. like how many people were born like on the dot like that? Not many. And your rising sign being off by like, for me it was 20 minutes. I know you were saying like a couple hours.
Yeah, research shows. Who was I following? What's that girl? What's that lady name who be saying all these celebrities gonna get locked up? That little spiritual lady. Sloan Bella. Sloan Bella.
Lord.
She said give or take 2 hours.
I don't know what she's talking about. Because the birth year, it changes every...
It changes a lot. No,
every hour.
I tested it out. I do think it's more so every hour.
Yeah.
She says give or take 2 hours. And I saw somewhere else that says give or take 2 hours, but I think it's about an hour. Like an hour window. That you're not way too off or anything like that. So, but yeah, I would just say, like my grandma said, my mom was born around 8 p.m. And I looked up like my mom's birthday at 8 p.m. I'm like, oh yeah. Yeah, it's within that hour. Okay.
Right. But that's more so gonna matter like the rounded numbers. Like say you have like a 29-degree ascendant, and it's like that's gonna make or break.
Yeah.
Which one you do. So yeah, and if you don't have your birth time like at all, you have no idea. Don't worry, you can still look at your chart, but the houses and the rising sign just kind of, it's not going to apply to you in this video. There is a way to rectify your birth chart, but you have to go to a very professional and seasoned astrologer to do that for you, because we learning too as well. So, speaking of your birth chart, so what should you look at when you pull up your birth chart online? So a lot of people talk about the big three. That is the most popular thing. That's like the main thing in astrology. That's what people know on a basic level. So we have your sun sign, we have your moon sign, and we have your rising. And to break that down further for you to better understand, so the sun equals the soul. I would just say your essence, right? And it's your sun sign. A lot of people don't know this is something that you actually evolve into, usually after age 30. So I would say like after Saturn return, really. I can see that.
Yeah, you know, like that's something that you evolve into, of course, over time after 30. And then we have your moon sign. That is, you know, your heart. I call it the heart. Your emotional compass, your internal compass, and yeah, like emotional decision, like your decisions when it comes to the emotional aspect of things. And then lastly, we have, really mainly, I feel, we have your rising sign. And so that's the path. So that's like the journey, you know, you're on, the excursion you're on, and how you go about that journey. And really, it kind of circles around, like, how to get to your sun sign. It's like the journey to your evolution. Yeah. So that's like the big three. And then of course we have, you know, your other planets. You have Mercury, Mars, Venus.
Big three is just important to focus on if you're a beginner. Like Ronnie says, there are going to be like a lot of other planets, which we'll talk about later on in the podcast. So don't worry, we're going to get to those. But just for beginning, it's definitely beneficial to just focus on the big three at first. You don't want to overwhelm yourself.
Yeah, for sure. And then, so when we talk about the rising sign, and like I like to say that's like the main thing, especially like growing up and like your path and things like that. It's kind of like how you're first recognized. You know, that's kind of how you show up a little bit to a lot of people as your rising sign. And it's also where you find your chart ruler. So for example, our rising signs, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. That's our chart ruler. So like whatever your rising sign is, you look at the planet that corresponds with it, and then that's how you find your chart ruler. That's also how you can find how you, like, your tool to navigate your path. You know, the archetype of that planet, you know, and of course along with the zodiac sign. But that's what you can use, like, on a basic level to kind of see, like, how should I approach life? Like, what am I supposed to be doing here? How am I supposed to be going about my path? So, like, for us, we're more of, like, explorative, adventurous, unknown, really. It's just kind of like giving it a shot, giving life a shot, you know?
Big picture.
Yeah, big picture. Yeah. And I get that message a lot.
Do you?
Because I'm so, like,
because you got all that Gemini, though.
Yeah, Mercury, I have 12 aspects. But anyway, 12 aspects of Mercury in my chart. So my mind is always running. And that's, okay. I was going to say, that's what leads to mental health issues. Okay.
Alrighty, so just a quickie here.
It's so Scorpio.
So if you have your birth charts pulled up, or you already know what your big three are, we're just kind of gonna go over the rising signs and what your ruling planet might be. So if you are an Aries or a Scorpio, your ruling planet is Mars. I'm gonna put an asterisk here because Scorpio also has a Scorpio is also ruled by Pluto, so you can look to that planet as well. If you're a Taurus or a Libra rising, then your chart ruler is going to be Venus. If you are a Gemini or Virgo rising, then your chart ruler is going to be Mercury. If you're a Cancer rising, it's the Moon. Leo rising, it's the Sun. Sagittarius or Pisces rising, it's going to be Jupiter. Because we're biased. But Pisces, also another asterisk, it's also ruled by Neptune. And then lastly, Capricorn and Aquarius are ruled by Saturn. But another asterisk, Aquarius is going to have an extra ruler of Uranus. So just look to those outer planets if you want. You don't have to, but it's just another area of research you can dive into. Yeah,
it's just extra. Like, I feel like they get like more to really explore and to really uncover. So that's really cool. So looking at houses, because that's another big thing. That's kind of where you see where your planets are, what signs rule those houses and things like that. It's really like your map, the houses. And basically there are multiple types of charts to look at, but the main ones are whole signs, which means that
what? You can tell she ain't the whole sign.
Whole sign. I won't say I hate whole signs, because today I discovered like they're easy to read. They are very easy to read and beginner friendly. But I do like Placidus, because the thing is, like, because of how my mind works, I think like I'm getting a download. Okay, because how my mind works, like I like to see both sides of the coin, or I can see how, like, because because when it comes to transits, that's a whole nother ballgame. We'll get into that. But when it comes to transit, like transiting, I think the combination of your birth chart with the transiting signs, that helps. Yeah. When it comes to Placidus. But yeah, so we have whole sign versus Placidus. Whole sign is very easy to read. Each house is the same degrees, you know, boom, boom. There you go. Okay. And I do think that is good for the birth chart and good for beginners. How do you feel about whole sign?
I love whole signs. Whole sign is my baby daddy. Like, fudge. Yeah. I don't mean cuss on here. But yeah, no, I learned with Placidus, which I'm going to make another tidbit because I don't know if we're like Ronnie was saying, whole signs is where when you pull up your chart, you're going to see a pie. It's going to look like a pizza pie, yeah. Your first house is going to be your rising sign, typically, or your ascendant, first house, rising sign. They're all going to be the same thing. From there, you're going to get like 12 little slices. And each of those slices rule different sectors of your life, and they are in different signs based on your rising. So with whole signs, it just makes it easy. Like Ronnie was saying, like, boom, your first house, Sagittarius, second house, Capricorn, third house. But when you get to Placidus, your first house, little bit Sagittarius, all Capricorn.
Yeah, all Capricorn.
Your second house, no Capricorn at all Aquarius. So it's like, yeah. And it makes it, especially if you have your accurate birth time, Placidus is worth it to explore. If you don't have your accurate birth time, I probably wouldn't even bother.
Yeah, don't bother.
It's gonna be It's not
gonna be accurate. But yeah, whole sign would be good for. That's a good thing to know. So whole sign is good for people who don't know their birth time. But yeah, I don't know. Placidus is just like spicy.
Yeah, it adds a little more depth.
Yeah, it adds way more depth. So that's the reason why I like it, and that's how I learned. I was like, whole sign. Who talking about whole sign? City. Yeah. I was like, whole sign, girl, what? And then it's a whole bunch of just stick with whole sign and Placidus for now, cause we got Vedic. What else? We got tropical.
Yeah, there's Hellenistic, which is the same. They use as whole signs.
It's sidereal.
Yeah.
I was pissed off when I found out about sidereal. I am not a Taurus. Don't say nothing. I am not a Taurus. Moving on. So the houses real quick 1 through 12. So the first house represents the self. Second house is resources. Yeah. I would say self. I would say as far as like on a personal level, it's self-worth, but on an external level, it's money. At the end of the day, third house is community. Fourth house is stability, the home. Fifth house is creativity, fertility, nurturing. It's the house of the child, the children. Sixth house is your day-to-day routine, work. Seventh house is your relationships, partnerships. People put an emphasis there, like with marriage and romantic partnerships and things like that. And if you do not have any planets in your seventh house, don't mean you're gonna be a lonely B-word forever. Okay?
Yes, it does.
Oh my god, no, it really don't.
Yeah.
My seventh house empty.
I thought your sun was in your sun. Oh, well.
Well, it depends on what chart you look at. And look, I've been with my man for 7 years, almost. Okay? Anyway, moving on. Eighth house is death. I'm joking. It is not. People say it's death. It is death, but not death in the literal sense. It's death as in transformation. So, like, I have an 8th house stellium. I love that. I'm always going through transformations. It's sex, taboo, hidden secrets, shadow work. That's what the 8th house is. 9th house is, expansion, religion.
Yeah. Like higher learning, expansion. Your beliefs, like what you believe in, what you get you on your soapbox about.
Okay. And then 10th house, career. That's where people look, and we're going to use this as an example. That's where people look at like, oh, your public career, I guess.
I wouldn't even say legacy. It's like you look more than, like it can be your career. Yeah. But I think more so like your legacy and what you leave behind.
What about an empty 10th house? I mean, you have your midheaven.
Yeah. But your midheaven is not always in your 10th house. Yes. We'll get to the angles in a minute. Midheaven is an angle in your chart. I believe like 10th house, any empty house, you look at the ruler. So how to describe this to a pause. Your 10th house, it's more than, it's like your legacy that you leave, I think. And it's more so like if it's empty, just like any empty house, you're going to look at the ruler. That's a little bit more of an advanced, or not even advanced, that's more intermediate astrology. But that's a good segue. Like if you have empty houses, look to its ruler.
Yeah. And then when we get into transits, you could, it's more emphasis is on that house if something is transiting, and we'll get into that later on in the Jupiter juice multiverse. Anyway, your 11th house, would it be like the 11th house is like community-ish? Yeah, it's community.
Friendships.
Yeah, community friendships, but like in a larger scale. Yeah, on a much larger scale. Now, 12th house. This young lady is way versed in that, so we're gonna let you speak on that. Cause like you have a 12th house stellium.
No, not a stellium, but I have
a
decent amount of planets there.
Okay. Is your sun there?
My sun's there.
Okay.
In whole signs. In Placidus, my Mercury is there.
Okay.
With my Chiron there.
Oh.
Either way.
Oh. It's like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? So
your 12th house is gonna be, so it's right behind your rising sign, right? If you're looking at your chart. It's what's hidden to you. So it's things that you don't necessarily see. It also rolls over prisons, hospitals, mental health, large animals.
Well, okay, elephants.
Yeah, like zoo, like larger, but it's like you don't see them often.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's kind of like, I like to describe it as a very dreamy, watery, hidden house. I think I mentioned this before, but it's like Everything Everywhere All at Once, that movie.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it reminds me of.
My favorite movie.
It gets very trippy. It's where you go to lose yourself. It's literally where you go to lose yourself, and then boom, you're starting right back at 1 after that, in the first house. So it can get a little bit confusing, get a little bit watery. But it's beneficial because it's like your subconscious, I think. So it's like, it's showing you if you have a planet illuminated there or a transit illuminates it, it really helps you to kind of like heal what's hidden to you or bring hidden things to the surface so that you can understand them a little bit better and how your subconscious works a little bit better.
And it goes with that Piscean energy. So like going back to houses and like looking at it as a whole, just like on a basic level. So like the original chart, the houses are also represented by zodiac signs. So like Aries is the first sign, so it rules the first house on through, Taurus, Gemini, and then it ends on the last planet, 12th house, Pisces. So that's like the original energy of that house, and that's how we get the themes of that house. Aries is number 1. It's like, it's the spearheader. It's the, we're going to get into that. But yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get it. So you see it.
Yeah, if you view the houses as like, again, I was saying like a journey through life. Because your rising sign is like representing when you rise. And then you can go, it goes through a whole journey. And we'll do a video on that. But yeah, it's very
fascinating
stuff. Interesting stuff.
It's really fascinating because I think that's what individualizes a person. Like that's what makes you unique. Because no one is the same. Like no one. I mean, you even have slight tangent. This just came to me. What do you feel about twins?
I was just thinking about that too.
What do you think about twins?
So even with twins, like sometimes they'll be born like 10 minutes apart.
Yeah.
Or like even if they're born boom boom one after the other and they have the same sun moon rising, same whole entire chart. My personal belief is that you're not a chart on a fucking page. Like you have a soul, you have a whole other thing to you. So it's really about how you express that energy out of your chart outwards. So it's like people like, yes, you can personalize and identify with your chart, but like you're still a soul, you're still
with a unique
consciousness, with a unique experiment. So it's how you wield that energy. Or how things like, because even like a lot of times your chart is like it can show you stuff that you can't control either. It's just themes that are going to come up in your life regardless. You can't really control it.
Yeah.
So it's like how you navigate that. But what do you think?
Yeah. Oh no, I agree wholeheartedly. Cause like this is how I feel about. I mean, just life in general. It's like, okay, I give you tools. How are you gonna use those tools? I give you a canvas. I give you paint. What are you gonna paint? Right. So I gave you the tools to create a painting. What are you gonna paint with these tools? Exactly. It's gonna be fucking chaos. Excuse my language. Or is it gonna be something? You know, a little bit of chaos, a little bit of happiness, a little bit of joy, a little bit of expansion, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You know, it's like. The point of having and knowing about your birth chart and studying it is to see how you can, you know, navigate the life that you were given and what kind of picture you're painting. You know, what beauty you can bring out of it. Because regardless, every life is beautiful, but you have to. It's up to you, though. I feel. I mean, yeah, things can be given to people and things like that, but just because a beautiful life is given to someone doesn't mean, I mean, look at celebrities a lot of times. They can be given everything in the world, like Nepo babies. Not all of them, but like given everything in the world. They have the opportunity, but what they choose to do with it, you know, they could end up in jail and, you know, because of whatever reason. But like, even people is like, oh, you have a chart where, you know, they say like a lot of like themes, a lot of people who do certain things like serial killers or like celebrities even, you know, like for example, for celebrities, they always have their sun in their 10th house, or a lot of them have their sun in their 10th house, or they have the 5th, 17th, or 29th degree or whatever. Some of them don't. Some celebrities don't have those suns, so it's very common, but it's not like a defining thing. So also, what do you do with that celebrity? What do you do with the challenging aspects in your chart? Because you can that can help you become more powerful. You know, we have very challenging aspects in our chart, but I don't look at it as something that's going to hold me back. I look at it as something that makes me more powerful. So yeah. Bow.
Thumbnail.
Okay, so like earlier we were talking about you know, the houses in that each house, like originally, has a particular sign that rules that house. So we want to get into the signs and like just a general theme of that sign. For example, Aries is considered the pioneer. It's the first of the zodiac. Then we have Taurus. We labeled it as the gardener. It's more of a nurturing type of planet, like a slow mover, but like, yeah, slow mover. But they like beauty, they like luxury, they like relaxing, and they love eating. They love, you know? Why do I hate it wanting to be a Taurus? I guess.
I don't know, because I love Taurus.
Okay, well, yeah, you're a Taurus moon. So, but anyway, so the next time will be Gemini. Me. So that is duality. I will also say, like, we are the learners. We know everything about everyone, everything, everywhere, all at once. I think that Gemini, I know everything. Yeah. I know when someone's going to show up somewhere. Like, I know.
So it's like a community, like, if you think of gossip.
Yeah.
If you think of tea.
Yeah, tea. It's the Gemini. Most hated sign, but the most loved. I do feel like a lot of people love us or they love to hate us.
Yeah.
It's like
I never had a problem with Gemini.
Yeah, cause like we're not bad. Like we're and people also say like Geminis are mirrors. Like if you have an issue with a Gemini, it's because they're showing you a reflection of yourself.
I have a note on that. People say that about every sign.
Really?
Yes, I've seen people say that about Libra. Anytime somebody says,
"Well, they hate Libra too."
No shade, but everybody is a mirror to you. Everybody is a mirror to you.
Well, no, that's real. I'm just saying, like, what is on the internet? No, that is real. On a slight change.
Like Geminis, Libras, Scorpios, and I think those are maybe Leos too, are the 4 signs that I hear that.
What's the relation?
The most.
Is there like a relation?
No, I just think it's like something people say.
No, I'm just saying, like, just taking notes for like slight tangent, like the experiment, like the 4 of those. What do they all 4 of those have in common?
I think, well, Gemini, Libra, air signs. Got the 3rd house, the 11th house, Scorpio, 8th house. What else did I say? Leo, 5th house.
I love Leos.
There's like social signs, like when you get like more into the signs and archetypes, there's like, obviously there's like, oh, earth, air, fire, water, or there's like the social signs. And I think they're all, there's like the self-focused signs, the social signs, and there's another one, and then there's like collective energy as you go through. There's 4. Anyway, this is a tangent.
Yeah,
of course we go to tangent in Gemini.
It's a cool tangent. Right. But getting back into the signs, but also piggybacking off of what she's saying, because I use this as a model. It's like, what do you want your mirror to look like? And you know, Gemini rules the 3rd house, community. What do you want your mirror to look like? What do you want your community to look like?
Oh, like how they say you are who you hang out with.
Exactly. You are like you're an extension of me, like the people that I'm around. That's why I don't hang out with. No, I'm joking.
And Gemini rules the Lovers.
Yeah.
Which is another like mirrored card in tarot.
So I mean, it's
I can see, for me, I see the most duality in Gemini. Libra, people be saying that. I kind of, because it rules the 7th house, so it's kind of like.
Yeah,
the mirror, so that's the relation there.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, I feel that. Okay, so the next sign, Cancer. The sensitive one. We're gonna leave it at that. Leo, the star. I'm sorry. People probably gonna be like, what? Leos are amazing. If you're a Leo, if you have Leo placements, I do. I think Leos are awesome.
I like Leos. They're warm cool. Campfires, I always say. They just warm you up.
Yeah,
they not only do they like, they're not, even though they are very me. Yeah. It's so endearing. Yeah. It's not like, me in a way where it's like they don't lift you up too. Yeah. You know, they lift you up too. They lift the room up. They light the room up when they go in the room. They light the room up. How you gonna get mad because the room lit up? The sun. I mean, they're ruled by the sun, so it's like. Yeah. They are the light, okay? And then, no shade to Cancer. They're the moon. Hey, emotions. It goes. All right, so we have Virgo, the planner, the organizer, order. They're not really strict. They're the I view them as a nurturer. Because people say Cancer is a nurturer, but I feel like Virgo is a nurturer that gets stuff done. Mm-hmm. I can see that. To me, like, Virgo's nurturing energy, because my mom is a Virgo moon. Oh, I was like, your mom. Well, my mom's a Virgo. I'm a Virgo moon. I grew up a lot of Virgos, and they are nurturing, but it's in like a reluctant way a lot of times. But they also rule the 6th house in like astrology. So the 6th house is the sign of like enemies, and Mars loves to be in the 6th house because it loves to tackle those issues. So they're kind of like, they're like you said, nurturing, but they're in a way of like the grandma that's looking at you like, come on. Yeah. Like, you know, like they want to do it, but at the same time they don't. Yeah. It's too much. Like for example, on a slight tangent, my mom, I always say this about her, like, she's a very caring, loving mom. I didn't understand how she loved growing up. Because it was sometimes it's avoidant because of, they're not really an emotional sign outwardly. They're more of an internal emotional person in general, generally. And I didn't understand, but as I grew up, it's like she sacrificed a lot, and she kept things hidden and kept a strong face for us because she was making it work. She, like, knowing what she did for us growing up, it's like, whoa. That's that earth energy. Earth likes to work. She kept it grounded. Right. And even Venus, the planet of love, is detriment in Virgo, I think. So it's like how we were saying, like, it works harder. Yeah. So like your mom was probably like, yeah, I'm going hard for y'all. Yeah. I'm going hard for y'all. Yeah. So it's like, and I appreciate it. I feel like Virgo is like a sign. You just have to appreciate them. You really do. So, like, you really just gotta give them their flowers. Yeah, you gotta give them their flowers. So because they are gonna do what they gotta do. Yeah. Yeah. And then we have Libra. So we put the diplomat, devil's advocate, which is true. Yeah. It's true. Yeah. It's real. So yeah. And they get a lot of hate too. But I think I understand them a lot. Yeah, I like Libras. Yeah, Libras are cool. I've never had an issue. The men. I've never met a Libra man. I met a few. So, only Libra women. And, Doja Cat's a Libra. So I can get the weirdness. Yeah.
And then we have Scorpio, the transmuter.
I'm a Scorpio.
Oh, sorry. Scorpio.
Yes. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Emotions. But hidden, like.
Yeah. Scorpio, we are secretive as fuck for no reason.
Yeah.
And I don't even, like, sometimes...
Like what?
Sometimes I'll be like saying something, I'll be like, yeah, like, and I'll be telling somebody a story and they'll be like, what? Like, when did that happen? I'm like, girl, I thought I told you.
This happens so much with me. I'm like, girl, what are you talking about? It'll be something like, girl, what?
And I swear to God, I told her.
I didn't tell you.
And I swear, because I'll literally tell one person my business, and then to me it's like, oh my God, that's too much. Like, I already told the whole world. Like, me telling one person my business is like me going on a microphone and being like, everyone, here's my business. And then I just assume everybody knows. Because it's like vulnerable. But it's like we're a calculated sign.
Yeah.
We're very, because it's Martian. Mars energy is calculated. We like to move through life and move through situations in a way where it's like, you know, just a little bit guarded, just because we take on a lot. Scorpio is a water sign at the end of the day, so it's we put the transmuter because there's a lot of energy being thrown at us, and if we don't know how to wield that, it can get real ugly. But if you know how to wield it, then you can really transform your life and really like go to new heights. That's why Scorpio is like the only, because there's like things that represent each sign traditionally. Scorpio is the only one that has like 3 or 4 things. It goes from the scorpion to, I think, the eagle to the phoenix, and there might be a snake in there. So I don't know. There's a lot of different things that it goes through. So be easy on us.
Okay. Sagittarius.
Moving on.
And we run and we're Sagittarius rising.
Right.
So, but good Lord. Whew.
I love y'all. Call me.
Girl, hang up the phone. Hang it up. Do not call me. Like, oh my God. But the nomad.
Yeah.
They are, when you think about, because they're fire signs, so when you think about fire, and we think about the fire signs, in that family, the Sagittarius is the raging fire. So when and I think that's, you were talking about earlier, they're ruled by Jupiter, so it's like that expansive, big fire. Like when they come into a room, they're burning it down. And I mean, like, they're very passionate, they're playful, you know. People say they're cheaters. I don't think
I never had an experience.
You never know.
What you mean? You know something I know?
No, I'm not saying. No, I'm saying in general. Like, you never know with anybody sometimes. Or do you know? I don't know. Who cares? Anyway, but yeah, like Sagittariuses, they are. If I'm going to speak highly of them, is they are very fun. They are very rambunctious. They love with passion. Sometimes that passion can be very detrimental and it can overpower things. Other than that, I digress.
Yeah.
Moving on. Capricorn! I love Capricorn. My dad was Capricorn. I'm a Capricorn moon. I think, so basically they were the 10th house. And it is the endure. We wrote down the endure for Capricorn.
Endure.
Yeah, they endure. And we were talking about how Capricorn seems more nurturing than Cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reluctant, like, still with the earth signs in general, they're like reluctant nurturers, I think.
But it's more meaningful. Because I feel like when they actually get around to being the nurturer or to being the support system, like, they mean it. Yeah. It's not like they're trying to do it just to appease you. They're doing it because they want to be there and they want to be that force for you. Yeah. But yeah, Capricorns, like, they get it done. Yeah. They're about business. They're about that money. So that's how I feel.
Zaddy.
Okay. And then Aquarius is the innovator, the weirdo,
the rebel,
the extrovert. Well, no, I can't say extrovert, but they're like, they're whatever. They're whatever they want to be.
Yeah, they're always, yeah. Even if they look normal.
Yeah, my aunt was an Aquarius. She was extreme extrovert. Like, I've never met an extrovert like her. Like, she was always in somebody's face, out and traveling or something.
I love that.
Like, she drove to Atlanta. She lived in Florida. She drove to Atlanta and get a haircut on a random Tuesday. Like, that's what you do.
Yeah.
So, they're very weird. They're quirky, they're themselves. And honestly, they're unapologetic about it, and I love that about them.
Yeah.
I've never met... Aquarius scare me, though, because they're so about themselves, and they can be incorrect, but you can't tell them they are incorrect, because that will be, like, hell and fire.
It's the only thing about y'all.
Yeah, that's really the only thing about y'all.
But I'm an Aquarius tamer, so if you have an Aquarius that needs to be tamed, send them my way.
Scorpio.
Yeah, something about that pair. Something about that pair.
But yeah, like, Aquariuses are cool. I love them. My best friend's an Aquarius. Love you, Alex. And then lastly, we have Pisces. We're in Pisces season right now. They're the dreamer. That's where you go to.
Yeah. Creative. Definitely creative.
Yeah,
definitely
very
dreamy.
creative.
Definitely, they say it's like the oldest sign, the wisest. Most of them I meet are membos. No shade.
Yeah, because I'm like, well, because, at first I was going to say, why do they say of course the wisest, technically. They don't come off as the wisest, but also they do. Because they're so, like, dreamlike, and, like, there's a confidence in that dreamlike demeanor.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I'm going to explore. Yeah, I'm going to do this. Yeah, it's like the delusional person. Like,
and don't get me wrong, I love a bimbo. Sorry for anybody who wants to take offense to that. I'm
just saying. But, no, but, like, for real, like, it's like, what they say, like, they just out here just doing life. And, like, what type of manifestors is that? I saw something on TikTok about it. But, like, the way, like, delusion, like, they live their life in delusion, and that's how they are successful a lot of times. Like,
I think so, because it's like, if you master, like, your emotional energy or your water, you can pull things in, or you can learn how to flow with life. So I love Pisces.
Yeah, me too.
I think that definitely every Pisces that I met has had a whole other life that I'm like, okay, and it just comes out in weird ways.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm as a Scorpio, I be figuring shit out. So it just give me a couple minutes. I'll be like, okay,
they're well lived
here.
Well lived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that we got the signs interact with each other, and the planets interact with each other in your chart. You'll likely see that when you pull it up. So you might see like little glyphs, which we'll like put in our guide to show you kind of more in depth and more visually for those visual learners out there how to read a chart. But aspects essentially are how the planets are interacting with each other in your chart. So you have hard, you have soft. Hard.
I'm immature. It's okay.
You're funny as fuck. Okay, so hard aspects are going to be your squares and your oppositions. That just kind of means that there's friction going on between your planets. So I would look at how your sun, moon, and rising are interacting with each other. If your sun is square your moon, you might have a little bit of a harder time balancing like your natural essence and your emotions. Mine are opposite. So I'm constantly in a tug of war. It's annoying. Softer aspects are going to be the sextile and the trines. So those are going to flow a little bit better. Sextile is like, hey, we're best friends. We get along. Yeah, you like that? I like that too. Let's go. Trine is like, oh, you're my person. Wow, we flow great. And if you look at it from a sign standpoint, sextiles are like what elements go together. So fire and air go together. Earth and water go together. If you look at trines, they're the same sign. So Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo, they're all the same earth. Fire is Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Trine. So they're like that. Going back to the squares and oppositions, the squares are like all the fixed signs square each other. So Scorpio squares Aquarius. Aquarius squares, what the fuck is that one? Not Leo, because that's opposite. Taurus.
Oh, like my brain is so blank.
So Scorpio squares Aquarius. Aquarius squares Taurus. But so on and so forth. Opposition, when people say sister signs, that's what they mean. Yeah. So, going back, so Aquarius and Leo, sister signs, they're opposite each other. Gemini, Sagittarius, sister signs, they're opposite each other. So it's really good to look at the aspects in your chart to kind of see like how they're working together. And the last aspect is conjunction. So when two planets are in the same sign, they're going to be conjunct each other. Sometimes they don't have to be in the same sign. They can be an out of sign conjunction. Yeah. But they have to be a really close orb. Yeah. Orb is just the degrees apart they are. Lastly, we'll talk about your lunar nodes. So it's kind of a hot topic.
Yeah, it is a hot topic, especially because of the most recent nodal shift, where which I get mixed up. North node.
Yeah, north node and south node.
North node and south. No, well, like the sign that it moved into, because Pisces is one and Virgo is the other one. So Virgo is south node. South node is Virgo.
Yes. Yeah.
And then north node is Pisces.
Yeah. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I want to give you this information.
Yeah, that's what we're at now.
Yeah, that's what we just shifted into now. And yeah, it's a really big thing. A lot of things, like on a societal level, of course, it's, a big shift on the societal level, but also like where you're going in your life, in your chart, when it comes to like transiting things, it affects that as well. So try to look at where the transiting north node and south node is in your chart, and that can kind of show you your thing. Realize, how often do the nodes shift?
I think it's like every 2 years.
Yeah, every 2 years.
And they go backwards through the zodiac sign, which can be confusing. So instead of going from like Aries to Taurus, it went from Aries and Libra to Pisces and Virgo. So it went backwards. And that's because they're not actual planets. They're mathematical points in the sky that are based on the moon's orbit. I'm not a mathematician. This is not a math astrology. We'll link you to a resource if you need that. Yeah. But yeah, basically the nodes in your chart are going to affect like more of your life journey. I like to say that. Just kind of like on a soul level though. So yeah, I guess you can say then you can look at your north and south node like your biggest challenge and your greatest gift. Yeah. So your north node being like your biggest challenge. It's where you need to develop your skills a little bit more. And then your greatest gift with your south node is like maybe you overlook these things about yourself and you can really like utilize them to maximize your life, because they're working together. You can't get rid of your south node. Yeah. People try to. They're like, oh no, you have to leave your south node behind. Yeah, it's a balance. It's a balance. Like, there's nothing negative about being, like, for me, it's nothing negative about being a nurturer. But it's like, I need to nurture myself as well. Exactly. So it's like, I have the skill of nurturing other people. That's not a bad thing. But I also cannot neglect myself. So it's learning to also uplift myself and take up space. Right, exactly. I'm going through my nodal return right now, so at age 27, your reverse nodal return. You go through something called reverse nodal return. And to me, it gears you up for your Saturn return. Yeah. So it's like, the north node right now is in Pisces, but my south node is in Pisces. So the north node is conjunct my south node. So it's kind of like helping me to develop those skills on the skills that I already have, because Pisces, like, I do have skills of kind of being very intuitive, very creative. So I'm developing those right now. Yeah. And then with the north node, my north node is being challenged to kind of like let go of anything that just doesn't serve me. So with it being Virgo, it's like, okay, I'm letting go of the perfectionism. I'm letting go of the overly paying attention to details. So yeah, we can go all day about that. Yeah. But we're gonna have to wrap this thing on up, because you feel me? Yes, lots to talk about. But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I think this is the deepest we've gotten in an episode. So I'm very proud of us. Kudos to us. And kudos to you for tuning in. So we really hope that you will download that freebie that we will have linked for you in the description. And I really hope that you enjoy this new journey that you're taking into better understanding yourself and discovering yourself. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share it with a friend. And until next time, my name is Ronnie. And I'm Lee. And thank you so much for watching Jupiter Juice. Bye.